Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Hey, happy Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Lean Sweet Live. While we wait for Jackie to come on, where are you guys checking in from? Hi. Hey, Fabi. Who else? Who else? Hey, Queen D. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Jay Burner. Haiti. How do you say that? Haiti Visual. Did I say that right? I love your page, by the way. Absolutely love your content. Hey, Phoenix. Checking in from Miami. How are you guys? California. Happy Friday. Hey, Brittany. Polk County. Hey, Nashville, Tennessee. Where are you seeing Tupatu? Hey. We got a lot of Miami people checking in. I'm waiting for Jackie to sign on. While we wait for her, first of all, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We are waiting for Jacqueline Charles from the Miami Herald. We're going to be doing an interview with her today. If you've been paying attention, if you're Haitian, there's no way you haven't been paying attention to everything that's going on in Haiti. There's been all these different reports as to what's happening, why it's happening. There's protests again. The last time the protest was this bad was back in November, right before Thanksgiving. This is day 8. It's been really bad in Haiti. Country's on lockdown. There's a lot of people there that, I'm not going to say there's a lot of people. People aren't eating. They can't get around. I actually spoke to one of my friends yesterday that said he's been living off crackers for the last 4 days. So it really have been bad. And one thing about Lean Sweet, like people sometimes are always sending us messages because we haven't said certain things. Sometimes it may appear that we're not paying attention, but trust me, guys. Like a lot of times, I get this stuff right when it's happening. I've seen all the videos. I get all the pictures. I've seen things this week I never ever want to see again with some of the videos that's been sent to me. So because of that, and because I speak to different people in Haiti, I'm always very careful about the content that I share, how I share it, and what I say. This blog, we're not really about politics. We don't keep up with politics as much. So I don't want to, when things like this happen, all of a sudden start posting politics and giving advice and telling people what to do. So that's one of the reasons why we try to share the news and tell you guys what's happening. But I'm not going to give my opinion. I'm not going to do, any of those things. And that's why we have people, when I reach out to people to talk, a lot of times they don't. Jacqueline Charles, she's just on, is one of the people who report on this every day. Like, this is what she does for Miami Herald. She's been following the protest. She's been updating her Twitter feed every single day. So for me, since this is not something I do, I don't want to be the one that's just reporting things and reporting them wrong. And it's hard to keep up, guys. It is really hard to keep up with everything, because I will talk to one person that says this reason, that person says this reason. I'll talk to this person and they go, it's for this, but Wanda, don't quote me. It's for that, but don't. So it's a really touchy situation, and I always want to make sure I'm doing the best I can to do it right, and that's why I do, these type of interviews. So let's get Jacqueline Charles on. Oh, and if you're just tuning in and you don't know who I am, my name is Wanda. I'm the founder of Lean Sweet and the co-founder of the Haitian American. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Let's get Jackie in. Hey.
Hi, how are you? Hi.
Look at that. You look good.
I'm looking like a mess. I've been working.
No, I should say that, guys. So actually, Jackie has been in her office every night till around 11, 12 o'clock, updating the story. And yesterday when the president went on, I was on all night. I'm like, Jackie is not going to sleep tonight. So this is what she does, guys, all day. So she is the best person to talk to. So I'm going to start off. Of course, like Jackie, I'll let you do a quick intro, and then we'll just get into what's been happening. And then after that, I will let you guys ask your questions. So Jackie, first off, go ahead, introduce yourself to Lean Sweet family.
Thank you, Union Sweet family, Haitian American. Very happy to be here. So my name is Jacqueline Charles. My friends call me Jackie, but c'est Jacqueline. So I am the Haiti correspondent at the Miami Herald. I cover Haiti and I cover the Caribbean, but as many of you know, Haiti takes up a lot of my time. Basically, so where are we right now? You guys have been watching the situation. You're wondering what's going on. Maybe you were following Haiti closely. Maybe you were not. So the last time you probably followed Haiti was in July when we had the riots, right? The government.
Or November.
Okay, or November. So, but let's go back to July. So in July, the government increased the price of fuel, and we saw that people were rioting and the country was shut down for 3 days. International flights were even canceled. Then the prime minister fell. Then the government introduced a new prime minister, Jean Risseyan, who's a notary and also a lawyer who's very well known in Haitian circles. He was also a presidential candidate. Now we go to October. And in October, when we were commemorating the death of one of our founding fathers, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, you saw huge protests, not just in Port-au-Prince, but in other parts of the country. And you heard a lot of people talking about, you know, Petrocaribe. Where's the money for the Petrocaribe? What is Petrocaribe? That is a program that Venezuela had for Haiti and other countries in Central America and the Caribbean. Remember when oil was like $100 a gallon? So instead of buying oil at $100 a gallon, Venezuela sold it to these countries at a discounted price because they have the largest oil reserves in the world. So rather than just cutting that check and giving it to Venezuela, Venezuela says, no, you know what? You can pay me over 25 years at a 1% interest. The money you would have had to pay at full price on the market, you take that savings and you invest it in social programs, housing, food programs, education, whatever you need to raise the livelihood of the poor. So we started seeing on social media a lot of young people, a lot of you who were in the Haitian American diaspora asking, where is the money? It's been almost 10 years since the earthquake. I don't really see any housing. There are still over 40,000 people in tents. What's going on? So this started to gain momentum. So in October, when we saw the protests, a lot of people were asking, where is the money? Then we go to November, which is another symbolic day in Haitian history. And this is where the last battle that was fought against the French before we got independence, the Battle of Vertier. Every Haitian president usually goes to the north, to Cape Haitian, and there they would commemorate that day. On that particular day, President Jovenel Moïse did not go to Cape Haitian because basically at the insistence of the international community, it was like, listen, this Haitian police, I don't think that they will be able to, you know, keep you safe, at the same time deal with the planned protests that are supposed to be taking place, again, in Port-au-Prince and other parts of the country. So they commemorated that holiday, that historical event in Port-au-Prince, and we again saw protests. But now what happened, the narrative changed. It went from where's the money and, you know, anti-corruption demonstrations to a referendum on the Haitian president. And a lot of people then started saying the president has to go. And this was something that the opposition was already saying, but now more and more voices were saying this. Not everybody, but just a crowd of voices. So now we go to December. On the holidays, guess what? There's a gas crisis. But it's different from July. This time, people are driving around Haiti trying to find fuel. Meanwhile, there are 2 tankers off the coast of Port-au-Prince with fuel, gas, diesel, but people don't have it in their cars. They can't find it. Why? Because the Haitian government owes $70 million to that fuel company. And every day those tankers are there, they have to pay a fee. And the fee was anywhere between 20,000 US to 25,000 US. So this went on for weeks. In January, the government paid half of the money that was owed, $35 million. And then that amount of fuel was really only good for about 3 months. I'm sorry, 3 weeks. So we're
Hold on, Jackie.
going into January, and
your
then we're coming on choppy. A really historical day, February 7th.
Was a little choppy. Hold on, I'm waiting for you to come back.
Let me see if I can. Is it still choppy?
Oh, you sound okay. The last thing we really heard you said is The gas only lasted 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Three
Okay.
weeks. So let me try and see if I can switch internet. Just to make sure it's not choppy. Is that okay?
No, you're good right now. And I feel
I'm
like
good.
if you try
Okay.
to switch it, it might break up altogether.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, so the fuel, they did manage to pay for half of the fuel prices, and the fuel was good for about 3 weeks. And I did write a story about that. So now we're coming up to February 7th, and 7th marked the 2-year anniversary of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. But even more importantly, it marked the 33rd anniversary of the fall of the dictatorship. This was the day that Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier, president for life, where he was forced out of Haiti, he fled exile into France. And that is also the day that Haiti divorced itself from dictatorship and ushered in democracy. And so it's a very, very symbolic day. It's every Haitian president is supposed to take office. The opposition had already announced that they were going to have protests on this day. And what we saw protesters. We saw them in Port-au-Prince.
It's
We saw them in Cape Haitian. They were in Jacqueline. They were in Les Cayes. You see?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, it's choppy. It's in and out again.
Let me try and just switch it on my hotspot. Okay, for 1 second. This.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, we want to make sure we can hear her, so let's make sure the internet is great. So she's switching internet right now. So if you are just tuning in, this is a live one-on-one interview with Haiti correspondent Jacqueline Charles of the Miami Herald, who's been covering everything that has to do with Haiti, the last 10 or so years. So she's been covering the protests and the unrest and everything that's been happening the last 2 years. And so we wanted, she's been reporting. So she said she's back. Let's get her back in. Hold on, guys. Let me get Jackie back in here. I see your comments. I'm reading some of them, but just remember, as soon as Jackie's done, she's going to take a few questions. Okay.
Right there?
You're back.
Okay, so I'm almost done because I'm bringing you up to where we are today.
This sounds much better. This sounds much better.
Okay. So February 7th, we saw these protests because it was a really symbolic day. And here you saw a collision of events. People were protesting not just because of the issue with corruption, but they were also protesting because of the economic situation. And what is the economic situation in Haiti today? Inflation is 15%. The government's budget deficit is $89.6 million, and that's since October. And to give you an idea, the budget is about $2 billion, which isn't a lot for a country of 12 million people. But already in the first 2 months of this year, we are already at $89.6 million. That's the deficit. So imagine they just paid $70 million for fuel and the budget deficit is $89.6 million. People, meanwhile, are seeing that their purchasing power has been completely cut. What does that mean? That means that I may have money in my hands, but I can't afford that bread. I can't afford rice. I can't afford staples. And prior to the protest, we saw bakeries in the city of Jacmel. They actually closed their doors in strike to say, listen, the price of flour is too high. We can't even, bake bread. We can't bake cakes. We can't sell. We can't make a profit. You saw stores in Les Cayes. They did the same thing because of the price of staples. And the irony on these protests is that the price of things gone up even higher. So for the last 9 days, the country has been in total lockdown. What that means, school closed, businesses are closed. People who are not protesting are at home in their house. Why? Because if I go out my house, I might run into looters. I might run into firing barricades. I might run into people throwing rocks. There are people who are angry. They are frustrated. I mean, this is hugely unequal. I mean, people who are not working and who are probably doing well are being supported by people in the diaspora. But what you have today are even because the prices are so high. And let me address the issue. Yes, in the last couple of days, people have talked about the fact that there have been gangs and people who are openly armed. And on Thursday, we saw that there were a number of wanted gang leaders who joined the protests, and they were openly armed in the protests. And people have said, well, why didn't the police do anything? Because in a crowd like that, you start to arrest somebody who's openly armed, then you create even more casualty. But it's also a sign in terms of where this comes. I mean, today, what you're seeing is just disorganized chaos. It almost, borders on anarchy situation. You don't know how long this is going to go on and whether this is the new normal. What's happened is that in the mornings, people are being allowed to, or getting a little bit of they're looking for water, running scarce. They're looking for propane fuel so they can cook. Is running scarce. They're looking for bread, the basic staples. And then by mid-morning, people are back in their houses, doors are closed, because what's happened is that flaming barricades, basically made out of tires, thrown with, gasoline, are being lit up to block streets, to cut off major roadways. My story yesterday, I started off with the fact that the General Hospital, which is the place where poor Haitians go, they had to shut down the emergency. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail in the yard of the emergency room. At the same time, where the hospital is behind the palace, there's a lot of tear gas that's being fired through there, and the hospital itself is running water because the water trucks cannot go there. I told my boss, and he was shocked, like, there's no running water at the hospital. I was like, no, there's no water at the hospital. Even on a good day, there's no running water at the hospital. So today, you're brewing on a humanitarian crisis. So that is I'm open for your questions. I kind of rushed through it, but it's not a simple situation. It's very complicated.
One of the things first, before I ask you about what you posted today, let's talk really quick about so after 8 days, President Jovenel Moïse addressed the country yesterday, and based on what he said, he's obviously not stepping down. The prime minister is not stepping down, right?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
No, I wrote a story today. We'll post it late last night. Okay, hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me now?
No.
Okay.
I hear you every time you ask, can we
hear you? Last night, President Moïse finally broke his silence after 8 days. He did not address the nation at all. That's weird. Okay, guys.
Hold on.
All right. So President Moïse last night addressed the nation for the first time in 8 days. And that since this crisis started, he had not addressed the nation. And
no, there's no.
I do not know what's going on with our internet.
You can hear me. You can X
me. Yeah. You hear me? Hear you.
Okay, so you can X out, and it will bring you back in.
Back. Okay.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me clear so I can not on my end, because I'm going to bring her back in before I do. Let me know if you guys can hear me clear. Okay, so it's on Jackie's end. Okay, perfect. Let's try to get her back in. Wait for her. Let me text her. Okay, there she is. Give me a second. I see you promoting your companies.
Okay.
Okay, this sounds good.
I switched over from the iPad to the phone.
Oh,
I'm at work, guys,
Jackie,
but technology.
I keep telling you, trust the phone. We don't trust the iPad. The phone.
All right,
See, I
all
gave
right, all
Jackie
right.
clear instructions, and she went against the grain.
Because my internet at work, I thought it would work better, guys.
Okay,
Okay,
so we were
so
talking about the president address last night, and so the people have been asking him to step down and the prime minister to step down. What we're not gonna ask you your opinion how you feel about it, but just what
I have
is
no
the
opinion. I'm just a
status
reporter.
on that? Like, is anyone stepping
Okay.
down?
No, I spoke to the prime minister and he said, I will not resign. He said that he had been asked by the president, and some of the president's advisors have also said that the president asked the prime minister to resign, and he says he will not resign. The president himself was very defiant and said he is not going to resign, despite the fact that some of the protesters and opposition leaders have been asking him to resign. Last night, the president finally broke his silence. He spoke for the first time to the nation since these protests started 8 days ago, which was yesterday. Today, we're in day 9. And he basically, said, listen, I'm not going to betray you. Give me a chance. And, he did not come up with any real economic solutions and says, here's what we're going to do. He put most of that weight, or all of that weight, on the shoulders of the prime minister. He reminded Haitians that there were the riots in July. His opponent, and and the situation has gotten worse. So that's where we are.
So you also did a story earlier today that said the aid to Haiti from the U.S. reflects a cooling of tensions. So that is basically saying what? That the U.S. is going to help Haiti with aid?
That they are working on a plan to get humanitarian aid to Haiti. That's where we are right now.
Okay, so we don't have an update as to when they're going to do that. You just know.
No,
right
there's not a timetable, but there is a plan that's in the works to get some humanitarian aid, because as a result, as I mentioned, drinking water is becoming scarce. Basic supplies are becoming scarce, including medication, because people just haven't been able to get anywhere, and nothing has been able to get in.
Do you know if Haiti reached out and made a request, or U.S. just saw what's happening? Said
no. Haiti's foreign minister has been making the rounds in Washington, and he has been making requests for assistance.
Okay, I saw someone said earlier, guys, I'm going to take questions in a little bit because we're going to let Jackie go soon. One of the questions that I saw someone ask was, where are you getting your information from? Because a lot of times people feel like, people are just making up some of the news.
Well, I have to tell you, I've been following Haiti since we won't talk about how long. I've been following Haiti for over 10 years. And when you are a journalist on a beat, you have sources, you are plugged in, you're calling people, you're talking to people. You've built a reputation in terms of credibility. And when I write my stories, you will see. For instance, I called the prime minister. I got him on the phone last night, and he answered. And I said, hey, here's what I'm hearing, and I wanted to get some confirmation. At the same time, today I got a source who called me and told me about something was in the works about the humanitarian aid. I reached out to my colleague, Franco, in Washington. He reached out to the appropriate individuals in the Trump administration. He talked to them. They don't always want to talk on the record, but when they see that you're coming with information that's not necessarily public, at some point they're like, you know what, this person is sourced. As a journalist, you really have to know your sources, but you have to trust your sources, and you have to know if you're hearing an information from several sources or from the same source. I can talk to 5 people, but it's still the same source, because those 5 people are friends, or they know each other. And I have to tell you, I'm up every morning at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm listening to Haitian radio, and I'm hearing politicians when they talk. It's not that everything that they say you take it, but you have to know, you have to analyze, you have to talk to the experts. I'm not an expert. I know who to call, because there are people, who go to school for this stuff, who've been studying this longer than I've been writing about it. And so you talk to them in terms of their analysis. I can go in with an opinion, but after I talk to 10, 15 people, that opinion or the way I frame that story is different, because there's something that I didn't see that they've revealed.
Thank you. Guys, I'm gonna remove this pinned message so I can take a few questions. You can start asking questions, and I'll take the ones that Jackie probably haven't answered. So Haiti Visual said, but I don't know if this is something you'll be able to answer. What about us, the Haitians living abroad? How can we help our small rural? How do we help, and can we help as soon as possible? That's always a question I get all the time too.
Time.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, you know, Haitians in Haiti today are surviving because of the diaspora. So if you have family and relatives in Haiti, the best advice is to continue to support them, because one of the reality is that, you know, at some point that assistance is going to go down, because either your ties to Haiti is not going to be that strong, or your kids' ties or their ties are not going to be that strong. So I think as long as we have ties and we have relatives and there's programs or projects that we can support, that you continue to do this. But this is not about, I'm going to go in and I'm going to be president and I'm going to, you know, tell these people how to do it, because that is the sure way of how to get yourself kicked out of Haiti or get tuned out by Haitians in Haiti. Whatever is happening in Haiti has to be solved by the people in Haiti, on the ground in Haiti.
Fab Fendi said, any insight on the current value of the Haitian currency and how this will affect pricing over the coming days?
Well, that's a very good question. The reality is it's crappy, because everybody's waiting to see when it's going to hit 100 goods to $1. And just to give you an idea, a few years ago, and I mean like maybe 6-7 years ago, it was like 40 some good to $1, and today on the streets it's 86 to 1. And what that means is that you're not getting bang for your buck. I mean, when Haitians price stuff in Haiti, they're not pricing it to how much good they're getting. They're pricing it to US dollars. So Haiti is a very expensive, poor country. And what this crisis is doing is going to cause the prices of everything to go up. That's already happening.
Avo Jeff said, and this is also a question a lot of people have DM'd me, and it's really, for me, I feel like it's a very hard question to answer because you just never know. But is it safe to visit Haiti in the summer?
Right now, listen, I don't like to give any travel advice to anybody when it comes to Haiti, because I don't want to be responsible for anyone. Haiti is a safe country, but it's volatile, and we are witnessing the volatility right now. As of last night, both the U.S. State Department and Canada both raised their travel warnings for Haiti. The State Department took theirs to a 4. That's the highest level. And basically, do not travel to Haiti. Right now, with this situation, we have to just watch it for what it is. I myself had plans to go on a girls' trip this weekend, and I had to cancel it. So you just have to watch it, but you can't plan and say what's going to happen in the summer. I can't even tell you what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday of next week.
D. Jane says, do you think that the president will eventually step down? The protesters don't seem to back down. If not, what's the worst we can expect in a few days?
Again, the same answer I just said to you. I have absolutely no idea. Haiti is a country where the impossible is possible, and one never knows. This is not a place where you should gamble on what's going to happen next.
A lot of times when we talk about protests and different things in Haiti, the news normally just says Haiti. And sometimes it's Port-au-Prince having an issue, and Okap, Jérémie, all these other places are not. So Anel just asked a question, which I think is important. Any word on whether or not the protest is going to travel to other parts of Haiti, like Cape Haitian? And I just...
It has.
Okay, thank you.
It
That's
has.
what I was going to ask.
Over the weekend, Cape Haitian, when Port-au-Prince was more or less tame because there were protests, things were really rough and tough in Cape Haitian, and streets were locked and there were barricades. Jacqueline has been cut off almost from the beginning of this. The South has been cut off. In Mirbalais, the day of the 7th, we had protesters who basically turned on the police because a truck driver, basically ran over a motorist, and the police were in the area, and people were so angry that they turned their anger and frustration on the police. The police ran out of tear gas. They even threw their hands up in surrender, and the protesters did not care. Eventually, what saved those police officers was that backup came all the way from Port-au-Prince, which is about 2 hours away, and from Inch, which is the town next door.
Okay. PCM Schultz asks, what are you hearing from the opposition on the solution they are looking for? Like, what do people want?
Well, other than they want Jovenel to go, I mean, that's been a problem. The opposition has not presented a plan to say, here's how we're going to fix this economy. That if the president leaves tomorrow, what is the plan for fixing the economy? Because at the end of it, that is the root of this. People need to be able to eat. Today, people are being guided by their hungry stomachs. And the fact that, if you're young, you don't have a way out. You don't see a way out. Haitians were going to Chile. That doesn't exist tomorrow. So what everybody's looking for is the plan. And I think that is the concern here, is this cycle that you're seeing. Okay, you take one guy out and another one comes in, but where's the plan?
Okay. I am Karen Andre asks, can you explain the specific factors of why the government is so broke?
Oh, the government is broke for a number of reasons. I mean, this is a government that basically has had very poor governance, not just this government, but previous administrations. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. We have teachers in this country who haven't been paid in 2 years. Could you imagine working at a job and not being paid? When you have a $70 million fuel bill and your fuel only lasts you a couple of weeks and you have to constantly pay $70 million in fuel. Last year, the government decided that the good should be the legal currency in Haiti. And so, but people under the table were still doing business in US dollars, and they did not address other factors in the economy to ensure that the good could be stabilized. You can't make your domestic currency the only official currency when it's not stable. Because if I'm basically doing business, I want to be able to guarantee that in 3 months, I'm not taking a hit on that contract that I signed. So there's so many factors, but mostly it comes to economic. Haiti imports more than it exports. So that's a huge issue. If you're exporting, you're basically bringing money into the economy. You have a situation with the border of the Dominican Republic, contraband, meaning there are products that are coming over from the Dominican Republic and people are not paying taxes on that. So that's less money in the government coffers. So all of this is about economics and finance and how this country is being managed. And let's just say the bottom line, $2 billion for 12 million people. You need to do something to increase your revenue. You need foreign direct investment. But to get foreign direct investment, you need to have stability. What company is going to go in and invest their money in a situation that's not stable?
Thank you, Jackie. President John said, "Est-ce qu'il n'a toujours gain carnival?" So I think 2 weeks ago,
two weeks ago, no. So
No.
pre-carnival, so leading up to carnival, there's always these parties every weekend, right? Every Sunday. So we saw Pétionville, St. Marc, Gonaïves, Port-au-Prince, they all canceled pre-carnival events last weekend. But the big carnival event where the government has basically set aside 120 million goods, I think it is, and that's been a debate where people saying, given the reality, the economic reality, should this country be spending money on a huge party? Should it be having a block party? And where's this money coming from? And so we have not heard anything from the government in terms of the cancellation of Carnival. So as far as they're concerned, Carnival is still on. But that is a huge debate that is taking place among Haitians here and in Haiti, whether or not Carnival should be a priority given the reality today.
Thank you. I'm trying to find a question. I see a lot of opinions. You just talked about how they want the president to be, but there's no plan in place for, what the plan is. So Caribbean 509 just said, who do they want instead of Jovenel? Because I've read that they don't even want the current prime minister.
Well, under the Haitian Constitution that was amended in 2012, and that some people would like to unamend, the way it would work is that if the president stepped in, the prime minister will have to hold elections within 120 days at the most for somebody to replace him for the rest of his term if it happens early in his term. If he were to step down later on in his term, then there are other rules that apply where it could be the head of the Supreme Court. So there is a system in place on how do you address who should take over should the president leave.
I'm not sure this is something I've read, so I don't know if this is something that you can answer, but since it's something I've seen mentioned a lot, even in the comments, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Ely says, the drugs and gangsters the president mentioned paid for roaming the street by the Senate in the elite class?
Well, there's been a lot of debate by people about who pays for these guys and what have you. I mean, let me just say this, and I don't know, but I know this. Guns are illegal in Haiti. You cannot have them. And when you have gang members who live in slums, who have high-powered rifles that cost a couple of thousands of dollars, one has to ask, where is it coming from? Is it coming from people in power? Is it coming from people in money? Are people in power and people in money, are they one and the same? That's the reality. So last night, the president directed his speech toward drug traffickers and gang leaders. And some people were disappointed by that because what they wanted to hear is, what is the economic plan for getting us out of this situation? How are you going to address the corruption allegations revolving around Petrocaribe?
So someone just said there's a rumor that there's some kind of lawsuit going on with the money that the diaspora is sending to Haiti. Do you know anything about that?
There's not a rumor, but there is a lawsuit indeed. But I've been so busy covering this latest crisis that I haven't been able to actually write that story. But there actually is a lawsuit.
So
The
you will be
$1.50.
covering that story soon.
I will be doing something soon about that. The
Okay.
$1.50.
Okay. While I look for some more questions, can you tell people how to follow you so they can keep up when you do release these stories?
Yes. So listen, guys, we need subscribers. And if you get 5 free Miami Herald hits, but I write more than 5 stories. I can write 5 stories in a day. So first of all, MiamiHerald.com/Haiti. We have our own channel. You can go there. You can see all of my stories as well as other stories related to Haiti. I recently wrote a project about cancer in Haiti that nobody read, but I think it's an important topic because it actually presents you problems that you can find solutions, in there. At the same time, I'm on Twitter at Jackie Charles, at JACQUIE, Charles, CHARLES, because Jacqueline Charles was too long. And I also have a professional Facebook page, which is Jacqueline Charles. So I also post my stories there. You can follow me on Twitter. You can go on to the Miami Herald, and we do accept PayPals. So even if you're in Haiti, we accept PayPal, that you can subscribe to the Miami Herald so that you can continue to get your news without that paywall going up.
Okay. Another question I'm not sure that you know, but I'm going to throw it out there. I got the Jet said, who is in charge of the check and balances on the taxes and the money the government spends?
Well, that's the problem. It should be the parliament, right? And they are a problem in and of themselves. And that's one of the issues, is that Haiti today that's not one, but that's probably the main issue, that Haiti does not have strong institutions. And when you have strong institutions in a country, it almost doesn't even matter who's president, because those institutions are independent and they're able to stand on their own, and they're able to either represent issues, either checks and balances on the budget, either human rights, other things. But today we have a country where the institutions are almost non-existent. And so that is a problem.
Okay, so D. Janigan says, I'm going to read the first part of your question. It just said, there are many rumors regarding the U.S. government supporting Jovenel. How true is this? And then, the second part is opinion. But is he being supported? I mean, there's aid coming in. So,
listen, the U.S., everybody I think we have to get out of this mentality of waiting for the blanc. Everybody's waiting to see where the U.S. stands, and does it stand, that's going to affect my opinion or where I stand with this issue or what have you. The international community has made it clear in terms of, in a democracy, leadership, you have to go to the ballot box. But because of their position with Venezuela recently, where they decided to support Guaido, the opposition leader in Venezuela, that has come back to haunt them or bite them in the case of Haiti, because the opposition has said, don't come and preach to us about ballot box and power coming from the ballot box when you just went and put Maduro aside, and you just basically acknowledge a guy, and you're supporting a guy who did not become president by going to the ballot box. So what we're seeing here in the case of Haiti also is how American policy or U.S. policy can have other ramifications when they're trying to address another situation.
One of the things that I read yesterday, I think you may have tweeted it last night too, that after the president addressed the country last night, a lot of people were upset. Like, even from the tweets I saw from people we follow in the hashtag Haiti, people didn't seem too happy about his address. So
barricades went up right away.
Did it get worse?
Well, what happened was, right after his speech, a couple of things happened. Both the U.S. and Canada issued their travel warning, raising it to level 4, and it had been a level 3 in the case of the United States. That was quite interesting. And then I started getting messages right away about barricades that were going up. People were calm and they were waiting to see what they were going to hear. And then there was a reaction, and the reaction on the streets were more barricades and things. Today, there were some incidents. It was not as bad as Wednesday. Wednesday was the roughest day since these protests started. And that's what we don't know. And it's that unknown that people aren't sure of, whether or not, okay, is this the new normal, or are we past this? Okay, have the opposition or the protesters lost steam, or are they just taking a break and then they're going to start back up again? That's what we don't know.
Yesterday, after his address, I received a lot of messages, even from people in Haiti, that said that the prime minister was going to hold his separate address today at some point, which didn't happen. So when you
The
spoke to
prime
him,
minister is sick. The prime minister is sick.
sick, like can't
He's in bed.
get
He's
out
he's
of
he's
bed
in
and
bed
talk
sick.
to the people.
Yeah, yeah, he's in bed sick.
So what is that? What we're waiting on? Do we need to hear what he's going to say before what?
No, the president, I mean, the president said that the prime minister was going to make some address to talk about what his economic plan is. He put the burden of this crisis on the shoulders of the prime minister. Now, how prepared the prime minister is and is there a plan? We do not know. What I know is when I talked to him, he told me that he was in bed and he was sick and he sounded like somebody who was ill.
Okay, so do we have any, based on what you're hearing and reading, because same thing you said about seeing all the things that were canceled last night. After his address last night, I also saw a lot of organizations and events that were getting ready to happen. People were posting letters. I received a lot of emails that people are just canceling things for now because, you know, they're not sure.
Yeah.
So do we have any real update on if this may possibly stop soon, or what can get it to really stop? Because even if the president stepped down, I don't believe it's just going to come to a complete halt, or am I wrong?
No, if the president steps down tomorrow, even if they find some sort of political accord, we still have a humanitarian crisis. It's brewing because people have not been able to get aid and things have not been able to get to people. You know, hospitals are running out of oxygen. They're running out of water. The general hospital isn't even accepting emergency patients anymore. I mean, I had a colleague who was shot, a journalist was shot on Wednesday. They took him to the general hospital. They couldn't even receive him. They had to take him over to Bernard Nibs. But we do not know, you know, when this is going to end, what needs, you know, the president has said to the opposition, I'm open to dialogue. The opposition has said, I'm not interested. The Chamber of Commerce has said that we want dialogue, but they don't feel that the president has made a genuine effort at it. And they have said to the president, you need to be willing to put your 5-year presidential mandate and that of your entire government on the table of discussions so that we can break this political gridlock and we can get back to some sense of normalcy. The president did not address that in his speech last night. So we are basically at a political stalemate.
So a lot of people need help in Haiti. There's lack of medicine, food, and everything else. So if we want to help, how can we even help?
How are you going to get it to them?
We can't even get to Haiti. Even if I send my family money right now, they can barely leave the house to go get it.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, I think we just need to hold on. You have to hold on because I mean, imagine, you know, you're sending something to somebody, they can't get it, or they try to go get it and something happens to them in the streets. You know, there's water in the country, but the water trucks can't get through to the blockades, to the streets. So that's the situation that we're in. I mean, it's like there's stuff probably at the port, but it can get into the stores, or the stores haven't ordered supplies. I mean, we as well, we are in this holding pattern to basically wait and see. I mean, there's been appeals that have been issued to the opposition to give people the opportunity so that they can go out, they can get gas, they can get food, they can restock. We're starting to see some of that in the mornings. When in the morning things are calm, you don't see any protests and people are out in the streets and basically trying to get stuff done. Now, can we take that on throughout today? Like today wasn't that bad in Port-au-Prince, but how is tomorrow going to be? We don't know.
Okay, guys, we're just going to take 1 or 2 more questions so we can let Jackie go. Edna said, because this is something I think I would like to know too. Do you think foreign intervention such as the United Nations is needed to get Haiti on its feet? Or is needed, period, in my opinion?
Well, I mean, probably the question you're asking is, does Haiti need to be a protectorate? Because we've already had the intervention of the United Nations. So
Let's wait for Jackie to reconnect, guys. Thank you for all of your great questions. I do see even some of my friends tuning in for Haiti. So thank you for tuning in. I hope we are giving you as much information as possible. I see 1 or 2 questions that I want to ask Jackie before I can bring her back in. Yeah, I kind of figured this was going to happen. So let's see if we can get her back in.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold you
Sorry,
too
I
long. I
had
know
to
you
switch
gotta get.
back.
I know your internet's like Jackie needs to get back to
My
writing.
internet and
So
my phone, guys. Sorry. It's what happens with a reporter. Just like, so sorry about that. But what
no,
were
I'm
we
like
talking about?
your phone's over it. So we're gonna let you go soon. I can still hear you, so I'm just gonna keep going because you're buffering. Can you hear me? No, she cannot. See,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna. Your phone's over it.
Yeah. My
So
phone's over it. Yeah.
two more questions. I saw one from. I don't see it now, but it's from BIBA, and she asked, "How many presidents have done their full term? How
Oh,
many presidents in history
only
have done
one.
their?"
Rene Preval is the only president in history to serve two complete terms in office, and he was not killed, did not go to jail, and was not sent into exile.
And what is the full term for President Haiti for people that don't know? How many years?
Currently 5 years.
And Jovenel Moise is on
His second year.
On his second year. Okay.
Now, somebody mentioned about the role of the Washington. We didn't talk about this week.
Yeah.
Haiti, in the midst of all of this drama and crisis that's going on, they recalled their Haitian ambassador. He had already resigned a year ago, but the president asked him to stay on. And then in the midst of all of this, when you need a representative in Washington to translate to members of Congress what's going on, to talk to them, to lobby for you, they basically pulled their ambassador. And it makes you question the judgment in all of this, that you're in the midst of your biggest crisis since president, since this administration, and then you basically pull your chief lobbyist in the United States.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
So Jackie's talking about Ambassador
Paul Altidore
out of Washington, D.C., who we have worked with, the whole time he's there. Him and his whole team have been amazing. I remember when embassies was all about going to get passports done, and he turned the embassy into a place where events were done, education. They were part of a lot of different things going on in D.C. He was always one of the first voices to speak up. I think when the TPS situation happened, he was on CNN. When different protests happened, he's always ready to speak up for us. So he is no longer in office right now. I was going to ask Jackie if she know who's going to replace him, but she looked like she's buffering again. So guys, yeah. So I think that will be like our last question. Just if she know who's going to replace Ambassador Altidore for the time being. And I think there's one good. Who is this? Ed Nas just asked this. If there's anything they feel like is good that he's done. So hold on, guys, trying to get Jackie back in here. I see people asking me, can I do this again and do weekly updates? I would absolutely love that if I can always find people willing to talk. Like even with Jacqueline, she was so busy and she made the time, to speak to us. It's not always easy getting people to speak on this particular subject and things with the government. So trust me, if I could find someone willing to do it every week, I would totally take that opportunity and make sure we do that. I haven't been able to get Jackie back. Miami Herald's probably like, you have work to do with us, because she's still at her office. She's not. I can't seem to find her. Yeah, I can't seem to get Jackie back. So I'm going to text her and see if she can't come back, and we will end it there. You're welcome. I see you guys saying thank you. You are welcome. Not sure if I can get Jackie back in or not, but if you want to follow Jackie, please make sure we support this Haitian sister. This is what she does. We're always asking for information and at least want to have a place to where we can get as accurate information as possible. So Jackie is one of the people that, I turn to and, to get someone here in the States that I can turn to and get information since she is covering this round the clock. Her Twitter page is Jacqueline Charles, her first and last name, Jacqueline Charles. And she tweets way more than she does anything else. So she tweets a lot. She tweets things, as she gets them. And then her articles, she writes them and she updates them as the story changes. So you can check her out on Miami Herald, under Jacqueline Charles, on Twitter on Jacqueline Charles. She has an Instagram, which is also Jacqueline Charles, but she barely uses it. So I had to get her to use it today. She barely uses her Instagram, so you won't really find her there. Don't bother DMing her or anything else. Definitely follow her Twitter page. Best source to get news from her right away. So yeah, guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to get her back, and I feel bad because we should have gave her a proper send-off for everything, all the information she's provided for us tonight. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I know you guys are like, some people, I'm not going to say you guys, some people think I should just be posting this all the time and just posting all the videos and everything else. I really just want to provide information. We've always been about education first more than anything else. So if I honestly don't know, I will not put information out there that I don't know, that I'm not sure about, that I can't, vouch for is credible. And once again, please remember, Linea Suite is not a political page. We want to, of course, make sure you guys know what's going on, but we don't necessarily every day cover politics or keep up with it as much as we want. So we can't, when these situations happen, we can't just show up and start reporting news and videos and, doing all these things, because things change by the minute. We're not always sure. So I try to do things like this. What I will tell you guys is I reached out to a few people in the government in Haiti that I have either met, interviewed, or, communicated with in some way, shape, or form. Haven't been able to get anyone to come on. I have one person that promised me she's going to try to get on, but she couldn't get on today because they thought the prime minister was going to speak. But I am going to push for that because I know you guys want to also talk to someone. If we can get someone from the government, trust me, guys, I'm going to get it for you guys. And another thing is I'm trying to get maybe some of the business owners or different people in Haiti that we can also talk to. But I also don't want to push anyone because it's literally like you're here and, your electricity is on and you have food, and then you're bothering people to talk about what they are going through in Haiti right now. And so if they don't want to, I'm not pushing anyone. But if we have anyone that's willing to come on to keep the conversation going or get updates, I definitely will. I, like all of you guys, pray that this ends soon because I was supposed to go to Haiti next week. I'm supposed to go Tuesday. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. But the minute I can get to Haiti, guess what? I'm going to Haiti. So I hope this, comes to a halt soon, to where whatever we can do following this, like we are able to go down and help. And if it doesn't, and we're not hoping for that, I will try to get Jacqueline on or anyone else on to keep updating you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the amazing questions. I myself learned a lot. I hope you guys did too. Please share the information, that you learned here tonight. Also, feel free to do your research. I'm big on, if you don't want to believe anything, that is fine. Do your own research. But this is what I could do for you guys, so I did it. So you're welcome. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Success is so annoying right now. He is sending me 30 requests to join this live because I'm supposed to talk to him soon, but I want to end this one and come back. So I'm going to end this live and we're going to get Success on in the next 5 minutes. So stay tuned. The live will be back. Y'all make sure y'all go show Jackie some love since I couldn't send her off properly. Go show her some love on Twitter and everywhere else. Let her know we appreciate her. DM her, go on to her page, drop her some comments. Make sure we show her love because she didn't have to do this and she did. Love you guys. Good night. Well, not really good night. I'll be right back with Success. But good night to the people that's watching for this particular reason.